All right. How y'all doing? Hey, Humpty Dumpty, how's it going? Hey, Ghost in Wires, what's going on? Yo, Topher, what's shaking? Better now that the stream started. MCP hype, yeah. Hey, TeachSec, what's going on? Just wait for a few more people, but how's everybody doing on this Friday late afternoon? I don't understand those emojis. Maybe I'm too blind with my glasses off. RNGG9, how's it going? Oh, hype and a mushroom. Now I can see it better. Not in OBS. Yeah, we got a few folks in here now, so I could probably start. So yeah, it's been quite a while since I streamed last. I was doing some traveling for vacation for a little bit, and then when I got back, I actually got sick, so couldn't do a stream. But I wrote this blog post, which you might have seen on an MCP server that we wrote, and basically wanted to write something for Binary Ninja since I had previously done some Binary Ninja API work. I wanted to work with that, and obviously they have a really nice API. So, hey Kelsey 4K, how's it going? So basically this blog goes over how the MCP server works, if you're interested in how it works in detail. And the overall architecture basically looks like this. For those of you who are not aware of what an MCP server is, it's effectively a API that can be called by AI or language models or a AI agent. So AI agents, this is all kind of new to me, so apologies if this isn't 100% accurate, but I'm pretty sure it is. Agents are basically large language models that also have in-memory context and can call tools. And then basically an MCP server is a standardized protocol for which they can access those tools. So the kind of way this works is I wanted to give AI or large language models access to a Binary Ninja database that was currently open. Obviously, we could have done it differently and had a Binary Ninja database that was opened headlessly, and then it being called from a MCP server, basically functions interacting with that database being called in order to interact with the MCP server. Hey, Goosecube, how's it going? But the reason I wanted to have the ability to interact with an open database is so it could kind of be a hybridized model where not only are we as humans interacting with the Binary Ninja database, but also getting assistance with the AI when we hit roadblocks or we have questions or whatever. And being able to see the applications of what the AI is doing in real time. So those are kind of all the motivations for that architectural decision. And it's not super complicated. Basically, it's just an HTTP server that sits on top of Binary Ninja. And then you can call different types of functionality within that HTTP server. I realize this font's kind of tiny, but you don't really need to read this off the screen anyways. But another thing that I did need to do is write a command line interface to test this. So I'll show you what that looks like. And this just basically gives a simple interface for us to test different functionality with the Binary Ninja plugin that is the HTTP server without having to use the MCP server. So the reason that's important is because you might have certain functions that the LLM isn't going to call automatically that you want to test. So that's basically all this interface is providing, is the ability to call those API functions ourselves and then ensure that everything is working accordingly. So I'll just kind of show you what this looks like. So I have a Binary Ninja instance open here. I have the previous sample of Stealc that we were working on last time that I thought we could mess around with and see what the MCP server can tell us. And I can open a new instance of this too that doesn't have markups to see what it can figure out. And then I have our Python console here that I will be using instead of the plugin dropdown for starting the server. But if you were to use the server, you would basically be using this plugins menu and then clicking on this Start Lattice Protocol Server. So I should have mentioned this, but the project is called BinjaLattice. I just kind of wanted to differentiate that name from all of the other MCP servers that are currently available for Binary Ninja. And potentially, I don't know if this will actually happen, but try and standardize a protocol in some way, shape, or form for interacting with Binary Ninja over the wire. I think right now there's not really a standardized protocol for this. So I think that would be a lofty goal to try and attain. But there's obviously other MCP servers that are doing essentially the same thing that are also well architected. Not saying that mine is, it's pretty hacky in some ways, but it seems to work pretty well. So again, if we go back to Binja here, I'm gonna be insulted if it chews through it in like 10 minutes. No, it won't, don't worry. This is Stealc, by the way, not the sample that we were looking at together. The sample that we were looking at on stream last time, and we wrote some automation for to decrypt these strings, and we looked at a few other things. But so yeah, going back to Binary Ninja, we have the plugins menu here. And then if we hit start Lattice protocol server, basically I'll just kind of show you what that looks like, but I'm going to do it from the command line. This is just a really good way to test when doing development. So all I'm doing here is importing the plugin. So actually, before I get ahead of myself, I might as well explain the setup steps. So if we scroll down here, all we want to do is I go to my terminal, basically just want to copy. I'm just copying the Lattice server plugin into the Binary Ninja plugins directory. And then after restarting Binary Ninja, again, you'll have that entry within the plugins menu. And literally all I'm doing from this Python interface here is re-importing the plugin from that directory, stopping the current server that I have running, importing the BinjaLattice object here, assigning it to AG, and then I'm starting the server. So let's do that again. And then we can see a bunch of output on the right-hand side here. Basically, every time the server is started, we get an API key that's randomly generated, and then we just get output indicating that there is a server listening on localhost 9000. Does the high-level language decompilation options in Binja better at handling Golang/Rust compared to IDA? Yeah, so Captain Nobe, for Golang specifically, it is, at least from what I've seen, simply due to the fact that the high-level intermediate language can have multiple return values, whereas the pseudo-C syntax within IDA does not have the ability to have multiple return values. So that's kind of the largest advantage that I've seen the high-level intermediate language have over IDA's decompilation in Golang. For Rust, they did implement a Rust format that basically translates the high-level intermediate language into a Rust representation. I haven't messed around with that too much, but it's pretty cool to see kind of the concept being applied, where if you have a Rust decompiled binary, if you had the ability to effectively translate the high-level intermediate language representation into a Rust-based syntax, there's like actually a lot of potential there. So the Binja folks, or the Vector 35 folks, are doing actually quite a bit in that area compared to what IDA is doing, from what I can tell, which is like, aside from having their standardized Rust stuff that they ship with the product right now, there's not a whole lot being done there. The Binja Rust view definitely looks good when taking screenshots. Hey Lopsec, how's it going? Yeah, it seems pretty cool. But I haven't really done a ton with it. The MCP takes in high-level intermediate language. It actually takes pseudo-C. So let's I'll test out that command line interface to just kind of show you what that looks like. So if we do Python, so this is that Lattice command line client that I was talking about. Basically just gives you a command line interface to interact with that HTTP server that's currently running in Binja without us having to actually run it, or run it from the MCP server interface. So I'm just going to paste this. Kind of still trying to figure out a better way to do this because this is pretty clunky. Let me try that again. So, and the reason I put an API key by default is just so there's like some form of auth, because most of the MCP servers that are out right now have little to no authentication. And then there is also optional SSL encryption. So in theory, wouldn't suggest doing it because it's not been super hardened, but in theory, you could have like a Binary Ninja instance open across the internet and then use this plugin, but definitely don't suggest that right now until it's better, until it's more hardened. And it uses the default Python HTTP server, which again is probably not meant for that, but okay. So with that API key, it says that authentication has been successful, and then we're just given a session token. So this session token is effectively used to make all subsequent HTTP requests in order to authenticate our requests. And then I can do this interactive mode that just gives us this interactive menu in order to call our HTTP server functions. But if I do like get all function names, then we get all the function names and their addresses. It's just communicating in JSON in the HTTP bodies. And then say we do something like get function pseudocode, so 11, and then we specify a function name, say this decrypt import strings. Then we can copy this, paste that, and then we get, it looks pretty bad, but I'll show you what it looks like from the MCP server because it's actually marked up nicely. But basically we just get a pseudocode format in this JSON, and it's an array made up of each line of pseudo C representation and then the respective address at each one of those lines. So I just wanted it in a structured format, not just returning a giant string blob. So that's kind of why it's like this, but it looks obviously kind of worse in the format that it is right now. But obviously this is a server response format and not something that we're looking at in a UI. So I can obviously write something within the BinjaLattice client to make that a little bit prettier. We have some log outputs here that are quite useful when debugging. And if I go to, say we want to like rename this function, if we look at, I won't look at those globals right now, but say we wanted to rename this function, then I could do something like, let's see, update function name, which is 4, and then paste that, and then just do test, and then we get a success back, and then we can see that the function name changes. So pretty straightforward. Same thing with comments, like I can do copy this address, can add a address comment, paste that. It needs to be in proper hex format, so I'm just going to do that, and then just do hey what's up, and then we get comment added. So hey what's up. So pretty straightforward, nothing super crazy. And before we see someone fuzzing the server, this is not facing the internet. So okay, so and then there has been some people that were doing some interesting research for manipulating MCP servers. I.e. doing prompt injection, which effectively they would manipulate the prompt based on the content being read from the database and then resulting in code execution, which I thought was awesome. But we're not doing any sort of automated script generation with this, so it's effectively avoiding some of that. There's still ways to trick the MCP server and trick the large language models simply because they are using human readable language. But I don't know, we could probably write like a system prompt to avoid a bunch of that stuff, but that's kind of where my knowledge ends in terms of like what is applicable and what can be done. But in terms of the offensive applications or offensive vulnerabilities in MCP servers right now, I probably need to do a little bit more research so we can harden the server a bit more. But anyways, so if we go back here, and then obviously what's nice about Binja is even though the plugin is the one conducting these operations, I can simply do like Control Z and then it undoes that comment, and then Control Z again and it undoes that function rename. Any questions about any of that stuff? Hey, Captain Noob, thanks for the follow. Topher, thanks for the follow. All right, so that's enough of the blabbing. Let's actually try the MCP server. So if I open my cursor clients here, basically all you need to do is, in order to get this working within a MCP client, is change this mcp.json. This differs for, oh, looks like I have an active session here, so I'm just gonna restart this and then show you guys what some stuff we can mess around with in a second. But we have this mcp server.json, and then basically all you have to do is point this at a virtual environment that contains two dependencies, one being requests and then the other being the MCP package, which isn't too bad. And then we have to supply an environment variable to be used by the MCP client called BinjaLattice. And then this just has to be the same API key that we have been using in our little command line here. So if I exit, then, okay, let's just go back here, grab this, and then I'm gonna save that. Then if we go to our MCP server here, then we can see that it's kind of hard to see because this is tiny, but we have the BinjaLattice MCP server that's available, and then the MCP server functions here that are available to the MCP client, and then the path to the MCP server here. So This is basically wherever that source code is stored. And then obviously this is all up on GitHub. I forgot to mention that earlier. So if I go to this, I'll link that to you all as well. Great intro into how this works. I'm a little behind on the whole MCP thing. Yeah, thanks for hanging out, Lopsec. Appreciate it. Okay, so now that we're familiarized with the setup, let's start asking it some questions. So typically what I'll do is, if we have our interface here, typically what I'll do is just not have any other source files open, just so they are not available within the current context of our MCP session. So the reason being is that sometimes if you ask like a code question about what's currently in the database, it'll start searching and this is unique to the cursor agent, it'll start searching the current local available code instead of actually looking within the Binary Ninja database. So you can write a prompt to avoid that, but just to make it less confusing for the agent, I'll do it that way. You can also customize the agent within cursor, so I'll do that usually as well. But in this instance, this is basically the default agent setup within cursor. On the right-hand side here in our little chat window, we have the ability to add an agent, or to use an agent rather. And this is the mode we want to be in order for the MCP functions to be available. So then I can just ask it questions. So for example, within our Binary Ninja database here, I can say something like what functions are within, or let's say what functions are called within the start function. And for those of you who are not aware, start is the entry point for portable executables, and it's labeled as that within Binary Ninja by default. This should basically just look for information in there. And if I hit send, then basically it's going to say, or well, right now it's saying I'll get the disassembly for that function. And then usually how most of these IDE interfaces work, including the one from Anthropic for Claude, is it will basically get your permission before executing any of these MCP tools or any of these MCP functions. And that's just a security precaution, I believe. So if I expand this, we can just see that it's going to call the get function disassembly, and then it's going to use start. This is going to fail because that doesn't exist, but let's let it run anyways. So then now it's going to look for all the functions. So we have this get all functions. So I'm going to run that, and it just knew to do that automatically. I didn't help it at all. So then it says, oh, I see there's an underscore start function. So then it's going to get the disassembly of that instead. And then we got the disassembly here. It truncates that. And then now it just shows us all the different functions that are in there. And then many of these internal functions, underscore sub, whose exact purpose require deeper analysis. And then it just says like MW decrypt import strings and MW import resolution are the most interesting. So I realize we probably shouldn't be using a marked up binary. So let's use, I'm just going to reopen this without it being marked up at all. So I'm just going to open a new instance of this. So this is the original sample, and I'm going to click no. And then I'm just going to have to modify the API key in order for it to work. Okay, so still applying the function matches, but I think I should be able to re-execute the server without any issues. I should really just put that on a new line, but that's okay. Go back to cursor, just set up the config again. I know it'd probably be better to have 0 auth and then not have to do this, but you know, I don't know. I figure it's a little bit better. Okay, so that should be good. I just need to refresh it every single time with this little refresh button to re-auth. If I go back, okay, so post auth 200. So that means we're authenticating correctly. And let's just refresh this instance here. So again, just doing some basic stuff. Hey Kevin, how's it going? Okay, so then we get a list of functions, and it's basically just saying there's some standard C++ member functions and then listing a bunch of stuff. So the first functions that are called within the start function, and see if any are doing malicious or let's just say interesting functionality. Okay, so it's going to get the disassembly within the start function. And then, so basically just called the get disassembly for the start function. And then now it's getting the disassembly for 402130. So if we look at that, that's this first function called. So I'm going to run that tool. So then it's found some encoded data, and then it's looking at the next important function call. So if I look here, then that is this one, 415ED0. Quite interesting. Okay, let's check one more key function. 401190, where's that called? Okay, so like these, I intentionally picked a harder sample just so interesting security related aspects. Okay, so see, it's this may be a binary, as some level of protection of obfuscation built in. The initialization sequence suggests it might be protected against reverse engineering using runtime decryption strings, implemented some form of anti-debugging, using dynamic function resolution. Like I didn't tell it any of this stuff, right? Would you like to analyze more specifics? So say we were like, hey, I want to look at this key function a little bit more. And it also, I never told it it was malware either. So I did that on purpose. Oops, cursor, can you analyze? Oh, hey, GoPro Slow Yo. Thanks for the raid. How's everybody doing? So for the new folks, basically I'm looking at reverse engineering malware with AI and this program called Binary Ninja. So let's check out GoPro Slow Yo on Twitch. And this is in my VM, so it might be a tiny bit slow. And it's going to probably play some ad. Hack the box blue team stuff. Nice. All right, everybody go follow GoPro Slow Yo. How'd your hack the boxing go? All right, so let's get back in our little session here. Okay, so yeah, say we want to analyze this function. Can you analyze the function and its sub-functions to get a better idea of what it's doing? Not quite your jam. What are the blue team exercises? Is it like DFIR, or what do you do? Do you like analyze logs and stuff? Okay, so it's basically going to analyze the 4043B0 function, which is, let's see. Oh, this is that one that's being called repeatedly. So some of you might be able to determine what this is doing just by looking at the high-level IL right now, but let's see what the AI says. Yeah, some DFIR, some threat intel, but I honestly find that stuff boring. I've done that stuff for, not DFIR, but I did threat intel for a long time. Not like I did malware analysis for threat intelligence, but that's cool. I didn't even know they had that stuff on Hack the Box, to be honest. You don't like to thrunt? Hey, what's up, Sergey? Reversing malware analysis is interesting to me. Yeah, that's the interesting stuff, I agree. Although DFIR can get pretty cool. Yeah. All right, so let's see what this function did, or let's see what this explanation is, which is quite lengthy. So now I can provide some details, and its sub-functions are doing. The 402130 is an initialization function that makes multiple calls to this function with three parameters: a length value, encoding string, key string. Stores each result in different global variable locations. So it does local alloc, and then this is pretty easy to see now, but it provides this like nice code output with comments. So allocate memory for the result, have null byte termination, and then get the key character, and using modulo wrap around the key, XOR decode the character, blah, blah, blah. And looking at an example call, I thought I was going to do the XOR for us, but this appears to be some decrypting strings that could be API functions, DLL names, or registry keys. Security implications, sorry. This is a common anti-static analysis technique. Strings are not visible to the binary until runtime, and it makes it harder to understand the program functionality through static analysis. Could be hiding malicious functionality. So that's exactly what it's doing. Okay, let's say like, can you write a Binary Ninja script with the Python API to decrypt these strings in Binary Ninja? Pretty cool. Yeah, I could do like YOLO mode, like what Sergey did on his stream, but I kind of want to make this a little bit different. Okay, so it's actually making a decrypt.strings file. I don't even know if it's going to have permission. Time to switch career to a farmer. I don't really think so. It's trying to do that. I have to accept this. That's why I wasn't doing it. Oh, I didn't output it. Yeah, okay, I didn't have write permission. Can you just show me the script in this chat interface? Yeah, there we go. From decrypt strings, BV. I don't really know how to give it. I think I need to save this file, and then I think it should have write access. Submitting the previous message will revert the changes. Continue to revert. Yeah. Yeah. To answer your question, Captain Nobi, I don't think so. I think there's still a lot for humans to do. Kind of like what Sergey said on his stream. If all you're doing is looking at really basic malware, then what is the moat for human researchers, Sergey? I think currently it's complexity. So having like complete understanding of what the entire binary is doing, there's not really, I think there is performance degradation in large language models once they get to a certain context window size. Okay, so I just created this script for us. And then, yeah, having general understanding of, wow, this is super complicated. I'll go through this in a second. Yeah, having the ability to understand effectively like every implication within the binary at every point in time, and being able to deobfuscate the binary in the first place. As you pointed out, like things like unpack me will become probably more and more important. Okay, so let's look at the, I think it's potentially a good training tool. Yeah, definitely, for sure. I 100% agree with that. Now accepting VC. Are you actually? I thought you're bootstrapped for life. Yeah, I didn't think you know, your company actually makes money, unlike all the other startups. Not like Uber that loses like billions of dollars a year. Big mistake. Yeah. Like, what was that Silicon Valley episode where, was it Russ? The guy who like put radio on the internet? Now we can't lie about how much we're worth. Okay. So, this is pretty complicated. So this is probably going to take me a little bit to look at. So get function at, so it's using the low level intermediate language, which is interesting. Is offset readable? I could just run this and see if it works, but it's basically collecting all of the cross references. Oh no, it's actually getting the right offsets. And then let's see, look for interesting constants. Oh, cool. And now it's doing some analyze decryption function to extract any additional information. I don't know why it wrote this. Try to decrypt string. All right, should we just run it? I think it's not going to do anything too bad. And I have this all running in a VM on purpose. Get current view. All right, let's see. Okay, I think I need to install snippets. Hopefully that just works. Maybe it won't get much better. I suspect it only improved so much because the LLM companies pirated huge amounts of training data. I don't see where Uber loses billions. Do they not? Hey JDAC, what's going on? Nice to see you. Maybe did they turn? I don't think they turned a profit. They did turn a profit. Okay, sorry, I'm wrong. Okay, well before 2023 they lost like billions of dollars. Damn, should have bought their stock before. Enough distractions. Let's run this with snippets. So snippets is just like this little snippet editor where I can run code until it does an IPO, go off with a bang, and wean off. Pretty IPO and ridiculously overvalued price. Yeah. I like how this became a like economic stream. Okay, class string decryptor, add comments, process all strings, if main, main. Okay, we need to get rid of these because I don't think it's going to call me. And I don't know why there's two of them. All right, I'm just going to repaste this because I pasted it. I just don't want to be the reason it doesn't work. Come on, snippets. I know you're supposed to be for snippets and not like these giant scripts, but okay, there we go. Oh, it looks better. If this script breaks the Binja instance, I'm going to be upset. I don't see anything. String decryptor, known keys. Is it using these known keys? Okay, maybe I should actually read this more. Stupid AI. Try decrypt string. So it's just like using a series of keys. All right, yeah. This string, or this thing. Can you write a new simplified script that extracts the parameters and with, let's just say using high level IL, but it doesn't have access to the high level IL, so this might not work, but let's just do it anyways. Yeah, Humpty Dumpty, I tried that earlier and it just works if you hit Control Z. Maybe it's gonna overwrite this. And then we'll move on to looking at other functionality in this. While we're waiting, it's probably gonna need to approve stuff. All right, this might be better now. Look for calls with 3 parameters, typically our decryption function, destination constant. Okay, let's try this. Get string. Why is it looking for the instruction constant of that address though? Okay, cool. So it's looking for the call, I believe. And then get string at. All right, yeah, this one looks way better. Okay, and then I'm gonna again modify this. Decrypt string call. All right, let's try running this. Might need to add some logging to see if it's like actually doing anything. This is getting kind of boring, so I'll probably just move on after this. But so it's getting the function here, which is correct, and then it looks for a call. Hey, it does have exception handling, so let's see that. I'll get rid of this so it actually dies. Get view of file. All right, yeah, let's move on. I don't really want to sit here and debug the hallucinations, but I don't know. Looks kind of promising. You could probably get a working script out of this fairly quickly. There's a window in our future. Yeah, God, I hope not. That sounds horrible. Like, I think this, actually writing this decryption code that I wrote last time. So if I go to where's our notes from last time? So like this took me like a good amount of the stream, but this is a lot simpler than what the AI wrote. So, but this was able to do it. Debug hallucinations, great band name. Yeah, definitely. All right, let's see what else it can find. Let's just say for the sake of simplicity that it was able to actually do that. Then like after we debugged it, I'm just gonna restart this. And then maybe we can try a simpler sample that doesn't have obfuscation. Okay, then we should see that authed. Yeah, so let's just say I really want to get these strings assigned to these globals, but the AI itself doesn't have access to the globals. So why don't we try a more simple piece of malware that I do have marked up. So I have like all the past stream databases here. So I do know that there's like that Phorpiex sample that we messed around with Sidekick. So why don't we try that? So we have, this is the original Phorpiex sample. Here, I just need to unzip it. Oh, wait, we need beginner. So if you are wondering how you can get access to all of the old databases that I have produced on stream, you can sign up for our premium course bundle on Invoke RE. So I might as well plug that. So if you go to training, so we do malware analysis training that will actually teach you how to do this without AI. And so you actually know what's going on, despite the AI hallucinating and not knowing what it's doing. And yeah, so these premium artifacts, basically everything I reverse on stream, I give to our premium folks, and they get access to a whole bunch of other cool stuff. So yeah, check that out if you're interested. And that's how I can live now. I'm doing this full time. So thanks, Humpty Dumpty. Okay, so let's get back to getting that unpacked one. So beginner, yes, unpacked. Okay, and then let's just move this to the test directory I created. And let's open that with Binja. Okay, it should have a better time with this one, I think. So I might just let it rip and see what I can find. Should we do YOLO mode? What do you all think? YOLO. Okay, so in this features thing, I think I can just do enable auto run mode, and then it's gonna be like, are you sure you want to do this? Because it can break a lot of stuff. And then I'm just gonna say yeah, but I'm gonna enable delete file protection. There's like so many things on Reddit and Twitter. I don't know if they're like trolls, but it's like people being like, cursor deleted 6 months of my code. It's really funny. Okay, so delete file protection, dot file protection, if enabled, prevents agents from modifying dot files. Outside workspace protection. Okay, let's try it. I've never actually done this with this MCP agent, so it might suck, but let's get rid of this out. I'm gonna create a new file and save this called results.md. I just wanna make sure it has write access to that file. Okay, and then I need to do this server again. This is a pain in the butt. This, but security, you know? Okay, authentication complete. All right, let's YOLO run this and see if it deletes my computer, my VM. Okay, can you analyze all the functions starting? Okay, wait, let's do a system prompt. You are an expert reverse engineer with Binary Ninja. Can you analyze all functions starting from the start function and summarize their functionality in results.md? Make sure to mark up the binary by changing function names, adding comments, and local variables. It might break on the local variable stuff, but let's just give it a try. Don't be distracted, but I missed the first part of the stream. How many Binja commands are implemented? Oh, in the MCP. So they're all on the GitHub. So I don't think it's as many as Duncan's, because I still need to figure out how to implement some of them. But get all function names, get binary info. So this just gives like a general overview of the binary. Update function name, add comment to address, add comment to function, get function disassembly, get function pseudocode, get function variables, get cross references to function. There's a few that I might need to add to the README because it can definitely change local variable name. Let me see here. Let's see. Okay, so these are all kind of split up over the different HTTP types, but add comment to address, add comment to function, which I mentioned, update function name, update variable name, get binary info, get all function names, get function context by name. That's not implemented on the MCP side, just I was using it for testing. Get function disassembly, get function variables, get cross references to function, and that's all that's implemented right now. So I need to add that variable name onto the README. That's okay. Okay, so let's run this. Hopefully it just works and I don't have to do stuff. All right, cool. It's just working now. And also I'm just using like the regular cursor subscription. So I only have like a certain amount of calls to the, let me document my findings. Okay, so I think it's just gonna add stuff to the results.md as it goes. Ah, crap, I left Phorpiex in the file name. I shouldn't have done that. Oh well, whatever. Oh yeah, another thing I should add is the ability to, this function appears to be a VM/sandbox detection routine. So another thing I need to add is the ability to follow it around the VM, or sorry, follow it around the Binary Ninja instance. So like wherever it does stuff, I just want to set the binary view to that. We can actually look in the log here at what it's doing. So handling add comments. Doesn't look like it's done a ton yet. Where is it? Check VM and mess up that. Oh, am I not seeing this? There we go. Okay, so reversed this, or it's starting, I think it's starting to reverse this because it just talked about the drive stuff. Okay, let's go back. Drive enumeration for infection routines. Yeah, I think this is actually doing better than Sidekick was. Can we see the pseudocode? Is that actually a VM check? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think it is the strings. Yeah, it's just the QEMU virtual in VMware. I wonder if you use the same language to describe that function. You just told to analyze the binary. I don't think I mentioned that it was malware, but I think it, let me go back to the original prompt. Yeah, I didn't say it was malware, but I think it probably got it from the Phorpiex name, if it knows what Phorpiex is. But yeah, I didn't say it was malware. We can start discussing stocks again while we wait. Okay, what did it do now? Infect directory. Let's check that out. Okay, yeah, cool. So like this is a pretty basic, again, it's probably just using the strings, but this is a pretty common USB infection vector that I've talked about before and that we reverse engineered ourselves. But it basically creates an LNK file on the USB key, and then it creates like an infection script and autorun.inf. This doesn't work anymore on modern Windows, but these LNKs do work, where they basically replace the original file name with an infection vector. And then basically if somebody double clicks on the LNK to try and like open a document or something, they're actually opening the malware. Resume. So we just hit the max tool calls, I think, for, all right, we could probably look at what it has so far. I guess that would have been a good place to look at the markdown file so far, but crowd in the moon. What's oh nice, it went up today. I didn't even look at the markets today. I've just like stopped because it's depressing. Okay, creation bats script accept. Okay, so it stopped. Okay, so let's look at this markdown. Nice. Okay, so let's look at the, let me render this preview. Okay, here's our little report. So this is just from the binary information function call. It gets the entry point. I'll click on those because it'll be annoying. Sysub SDH handler, C runtime, processes command line arguments, get startup info, exit, terminate process, MSVC compiled. That's kind of cool. Okay, so initial sleep. Maybe I should open up the Binary Ninja database that we marked up on stream. Or no, I think it was an IDA database for Phorpiex actually. It creates a mutex, attempts to copy itself to those directories, start registry modifications, anti-analysis, deletes the zone identifier, notable APIs, anti-VM detection. Yeah, just use the strings like Sergey said, device IO, self-analysis, gets own path, persistence, runs in an infinite loop, continuously looks for new drives. This function implements the actual infection mechanisms for directories. This is actually the USB propagation functionality, but so I got confused about that. Yeah, there's definitely more in here. So how do I get it to analyze more stuff? But that was pretty good for a first run. Okay, let me open up the old database with IDA. We'll probably do it that way to compare, because I don't want to reverse this on stream because we've done it already. I'm just going to open it up in the here, so give me 2 seconds. Okay, so let's look at my human database. But okay, so we have a whole bunch more marked up functions. Then, yeah, like the crypto hijacking stuff I wanted to analyze. Okay, maybe I just need to like force it to, how y'all doing? Is this boring? Watching an LLM do this instead of me? Okay, continue analysis of functions that you have not analyzed. Mark them up accordingly. I just want to see like how vague I can be and then do stuff. I just joined, also curious, mainly about the prompts. Yeah, I'm like being super vague with the prompts, Duncan, so I haven't dove super deep into that. We should create a prompt library. Yeah, I posted it on X on the Invoke reversing is our. I'm not gonna be able to go there because I'm not logged in on here, but /invoke reversing is us. I think it's just gonna prompt me a lot. Sweet. You were asking me last week when I was gonna open source it, or earlier this week. I might have hit my throttle. Cool. Okay, it's still going. Oh yeah, I found the IRC stuff. Cool. That first pass is pretty good. Yeah. Sergey, mostly because I was too lazy and I already had a cursor subscription and I didn't want to set up an open router subscription. So I guess lazy and cheap. Like this way I only have to pay $20 no matter what, instead of like paying whatever it would cost me with, we're using Claude, or what were you using with open router? Okay. I just did a bunch of other stuff. Okay, I didn't remember that I needed it to add it to the markdown file, but okay, the analysis of sophisticated IRC-based command and control capabilities, handles IRC protocol communication, initialize IRC connections, that's a bot, manages multiple network connections, malware uses multi-threaded architecture. Can you add this to our markdown file? Yeah, that's pretty expensive. USD, I assume. That's an expensive malware analysis. It's like $500 Canadian. I'm just joking. Okay, let's see what it added. Okay, IRC command and control analysis. The malware exhibits sophisticated IRC. Okay, so it's basically just saying what it said. Oh no, it added more stuff. Did I just close that by accident? Okay, open preview. There we go. Malware exhibits sophisticated IRC. Yes, I already read that. Handles IRC protocol communications, formatting, sending such commands as nick, user, pong, join. Initialize the IRC connection. Initializes the connection table. I don't know if I found that they actually were using a table, so that's pretty interesting. Multi-threading synchronization. Okay, let's tell it to keep going. Okay, continue analyzing the functions that you have not looked at yet. Let's see what it just did. Okay, it got to the actual IRC command processing, and then we'll actually look at the database. Let's go in the preview, so it looks prettier. Monitor IRC socket. Is it in here? Oh yeah, it is. Sorry. Okay, so implements non-blocking socket, removes leading dots. Okay, this is kind of boring though. I wanted to find the crypto jacking stuff. So where's the crypto stuff? Okay, I'll open this up. I might just give it some help just so we can move it along, unless you guys think that's cheating. Oh yeah, it hasn't found the CRC32 yet. Oh yeah, it hasn't found this yet either. Okay, maybe I'll tell it like where to. I'm just gonna get it to analyze this function, which is here, because this is like where the meat and potatoes is. VM again. I'm just gonna full screen this so we have a little bit more room. Okay, and then let's go to this function, and I'm just gonna say analyze and all of its called functions. Summarize it, mark it up with comments, change function names and local variable names where possible, and local variable names, and summarize. I think it might be the cursor agent that's throttling it, so it doesn't actually analyze like literally all the functions. So maybe I should have done this with the open router style technique. Okay, so it found the download stuff. Nice. Found the RC4 stuff. I think there's RC4 there. Okay, let's look at the RC4 and see if it actually is RC4. Make it pseudo-C for the folks who don't like the high-level intermediate language. It does look like there's, where's the initialization loop? I think that could be RC4, but it's doing these D-word XORs, which is why it's throwing me off a little bit. But if it's only doing that for, let's see, those D-word iterations, then yeah, it could be. I can't remember if I found that in my Phorpiex sample either, or the IDA database. I can check that. I just called it a decode algo. All right, let's see what it found. Bot command processing. Okay, the malware implements sophisticated command and control. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. So for self-deletion, RM, RF. Okay, system information, queries the system state, local information, user privilege, download, or architecture. Downloading operations, supports geolocation-based execution. Does it? I don't think it does. I don't even know what that means. For channel management. Yeah, join. This would be like for the join IRC stuff. Is this for process IRC bot command? I don't know why that it's not right. It's not updating local variables either. Oh, is it because of this whip mania thing? I'm pretty sure that's just the C2. Yeah, I don't think this is anything that's, oh, it is for IP geolocation. Damn, the AI is so smart. Hey, 0day3301, how's it going? Thanks for the raid. 0 Day 3301, thanks for the follow. Nacho Lopex, thanks for the follow. Urizen Lux, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Okay, so that's pretty cool. I didn't even know that was a geolocation URL. Okay, so let's get it to keep going. Analyzing this function because there's still functions being called here. Okay, I might just speed this up too because I think this is the download execution functionality. I wanted to look at the crypto stuff. Markup all with comments and change their function names. Something like that. Just prompt to go faster. Yeah. Okay, yeah, so sorry, everybody who was watching 0 Day 3301 stream, thanks for joining. Everybody go over and follow 0 Day 3301. I almost did Twitter instead of Twitch. So please give them a follow. And basically what we're doing today is we're reverse engineering malware and then analyzing it with Binary Ninja. And to do that, we're also using a MCP server that basically allows us to interface with large language models and get and push and acquire information from the Binary Ninja database accordingly using the large language model. So basically right now I'm just using Cursor in order to do that. So kind of complicated, but basically analyzing malware with AI is what it boils down to. And right now the AI is going through and marking up a bunch of functions using this reverse engineering application called Binary Ninja, which basically allows us to analyze binaries with their assembly code. So if I change this to disassembly, then it shows a whole bunch of different Intel XT6 assembly instructions. And if I change this to this high-level intermediate language representation, it basically gives us a decompiler view as to what's being done in the program. So decompilers basically try and attempt to recover the original code the best it can based on the limited information that it has. Okay, so the download handler, let's see, was it just the, okay, so that's the download execution functionality. Yes, keep analyzing the functions. So going there, and I have a hard stop in about 50 minutes. So just giving you all a heads up. More money equals go faster. Yeah. This bot nickname generation function. Cool. See reverse engineering 10 times. Yeah. If you look into a mirror and you say reverse engineering 10 times, what happens? Sergey appears. You lose all your hair. Yeah. Okay, let's see. This is pretty cool, actually. Detects 64-bit systems. Bot identification system. Goes over the format. Checks write privileges. Privilege levels. System locale. This system allows operators to track individual bots. Target commands based on system type. Filter by privilege level. This is so cool. Sure, let's accept it. Command authentication and validation. Verifies command source. I didn't know it had error validation. That's pretty cool. All functions that haven't been. Where was that? Okay, so this is all the bot stuff with the nicknames. Where was the general handler though? With the threads. This one. Process IRC bot command. And yeah, nice. Reverse engineering backwards twice. 10 years ago, this would have owned the security industry. Yeah, I know. I feel like the hype just drowns out like the actual practical applications of some of this stuff. Okay, while this is analyzing, I'm just going to do a quick bathroom break. So again, the reason I can do these streams, create this open source software that's available to you all for free, etc., is that I run a company called Invoke RE. So we do malware analysis training, and we also provide malware analysis services. But if you are interested in learning malware reverse engineering, that is not done by AI, so you can actually understand what's going on when you are analyzing a binary, check out our training here. I'm just going to play a quick ad for our training course, and then I'm going to run to the washroom, and I'll be right back while the AI is reversing for us. So be right back. Hey everyone, my name is Joshua Reynolds, and welcome to the Invoke RE Introduction to Malware Binary Triage course. Throughout this course, you will learn to triage and reverse engineer malware binaries using a number of proven techniques. These include static analysis, which is the concept of analyzing malware at rest, and dynamic analysis, which is the concept of analyzing malware as it executes. We will also be analyzing network protocols used in malware command and control communications, malware obfuscation, packers and how to unpack them, process injection, how to write effective YAR rules to detect malware variants, and how to compare malware samples at a binary level. This course consists of 11 modules, each containing lectures and practical labs to apply knowledge that you have gained as you complete the course. We provide both video and written materials, so no matter what your learning style is, you can complete the course successfully. Thank you for checking out the course, and we look forward to teaching you. All right. Josh, have you tried Delphos Labs yet? No. Can I just like try it? I thought it would be like expensive and like enterprisey. Ooh, I can just like upload stuff there. Can I just upload this malware binary, JDuck? Yeah, it is real. JDuck is, okay, let me upload this binary. But it's gonna look for exploits, right? Why does it say invalid file type? JDuck, is there a bug? This is an x86 binary. Oh, just elfs, okay. I don't have any elf malware handy, but it's just looking for vulns, right? It's not, or is it gonna like summarize everything? Let's see. Oh, it's not looking for vulns yet, okay. I'm not a robot. This. I need to get my MCP server to do the malware bizarre captchas for me. Okay, here's an elf file. It's zipped. It's gonna be zipped though, I think. Hopefully I don't accidentally execute this. Yeah, it looks like a pretty cool startup. JDuck and I were chilling in at Reverse. Okay, let's upload this. Cool. Oh, I want the language summary, JDuck. Can you give me an API, or can you give me a login? Click on lock. Oh, I have it on lock. Okay, sorry. I should read. That's pretty funny, actually. It has UPX. That's boring. Oh, let's see. I need something that's unpacked. Okay, what about Mirai? Let's try this. Okay, and then I'll get back to my stream. Or not my stream, but my reversing. Okay, let's try, wait, summary. The binary appears to collect low-level functions, purpose, device driver. I guess I should like actually obfuscate or placeholder code. Complex control flow. So if die is right, like what I saw in Bizarre, then, okay, let's try Mirai Sample. Hey, Josh is unemployed. I'm not unemployed. I own my own company. Self-employed, yeah. So yeah, you're the same, but you just also have Sean, CEO employed, yeah. Okay, okay, well that's running. Let's go back to this and see what it found. Cool, it finally found the clipboard hijack and stuff. So, so it added validate and store key command, or command key, monitor clipboard for commands. That's not what it's doing, but command keys. That's not what it's doing. It's looking for crypto addresses to swap out. Okay, let's see. But I think it's still probably gonna be right. Is there anything that it hasn't analyzed in here? Download and execute payload. Oh yeah, there's still some. Or there's still two. Open clipboard. Okay, but what else does it call here? Oh, validate and store command keys. So this is actually monitoring for crypto bytes. So maybe if I can like hint at it, what could, I know this is kind of cheating, but I wanted to figure out that the crypto addresses. Unpack me, Intel trends. Okay, what are you guys talking about? It's definitely not the same experience as MCP and other tools. We are aiming for more of a user group that isn't experienced with RE, experienced with RE. MCP server first, then report second. Now with AI, everyone is trying to start a business. If you are made of money, it would be super easy to do your own MCP that generates the reports. Yeah, totally. Intel trends, some experience with that. This is currently the blocker. Need some mega VC. Yeah, like I wonder if you could get the cost down by using smaller models and then just making them better at. Okay, now it's like going off the rails. It's like, these are the commands, but they're just crypto addresses. Look at this. It's like, these are the encoding methods. Okay, they're just crypto addresses, actually. Okay, I'm going to reject this because it's garbage. Cryptocurrency addresses. Okay, now I figured it out. This is pretty cool, though. It's like, oh yeah, these are the preceding bytes of straightforward ransomware. Is it somewhere that I can download it? Because I don't have anything logged in on this VM. Why didn't that work? Okay, let me try that Mirai sample again, and then I'll get the Sergey's ransomware. Can I download on Malshare without logging in? I can do it on my host, but yo, JDuck, why is this broken? I couldn't see why something didn't work. Maybe, is it big? I don't think that file's big because it downloaded quickly. No, it's like super tiny. Okay, you did say it was public beta, right? Sergey, can you upload it? Or I can, no, JDuck, I'm interested. It looks cool. Cool, more CAPTCHA checks. I'm not a robot. Man, the stream is so good. Look at us pick all the buses. I have to log in. No. Okay, let me try and get it. Hold on. I have some stuff to get, Sam. If it's on any of the source. Okay, go. Sorry, I'm just doing this off screen because it's on my another box and I don't show it. Okay, let's do elf ransomware. Okay, now I should be able to upload it here. But if the upload is not working, then I might not be able to. But we could probably look at this in Binja anyways, the elf one. Okay, let's try that. Cool, that worked. Nice. Damn, did it finish already? Oh, no, still processing. Sorry, I got it to work, okay? I guess, yeah, I could have gotten you to upload it to Delphos. That would have been a way faster idea. Okay, let me look at, where's the crypto stuff? Command ignition storage. Okay, here. Cryptocurrency address validation to validate various cryptocurrency addresses. This validation suggests the, okay, yeah, that's right, but it didn't put two new together that it's doing clipboard monitoring with the cryptocurrency address validation in order to swap out the addresses. But okay, I think that's most of the functionality, and it did a pretty good job. Let's see what this is doing. Is this more self-propagation functionality? Okay, let's get it to analyze these. So that one, the C2 stuff. In this one, functions, comments, and then let's look at Delphos. The binary appears to be a command line tool for encrypting RSA public key cryptography. It incorporates several, incorporates several cryptographic function libraries. Is this the right stream cipher, Sergey? Do you know? Manic stream cipher. Possible purpose of the binary is to securely encrypt files. The use of RSA suggests that. Okay, so yeah, I got the general idea of what the file was for. I just didn't figure out that it was ransomware. Can you just use the same prompt? Oh, yeah, I can't. I don't know if I can do that in Cursor, actually. Okay, now it's reanalyzing stuff. Great. DNS resolution. Okay, network stuff. What about these functions? I wanted it to find these functions, but I'm just going to tell it to continue analyzing their functionality, and that naming prompt will help. It will help a lot. Give it a prefix. Oh yeah, that'd be smart. I'll just tell it to rename all the functions that have been renamed. That was weird. It just rejected its own markdown thing, or its own markdown edit. Dereference pointer. So let's add all this to our markdown because I want to upload this with the notes. Is there any changes that I haven't accepted markdown file right now? We have a pretty sweet report. Change all function names to be more descriptive. Yeah, I'm just gonna literally copy paste Sergey's chat. I don't think so. See, it worked. No, I've been using the namespaces with Binja. It works. I hope it doesn't hallucinate and forget and start renaming functions things that they're not. If you see it in Lumina. Yeah, I thought about doing that. Just getting AI to reverse a bunch of stuff and then pushing it to Luna. I've renamed previously identified prefix, all functions now. Would you like me to look for, okay, let's do this. Vibe. Look at all this hard work. I don't think it did all of them. No, yeah, there's a bunch of stuff it didn't rename. There's still stuff, functions you didn't, oh no, that's okay. Sorry about it. Yeah, I think all those crazy agentic systems that people keep talking about on Twitter and stuff, I think those have shared memory between all the agents. I don't really understand it all. I feel like I'm a boomer trying to read about AI stuff. Yeah, store, it kind of did that in the markdown file, did it? But will this IDE agent just do? Then should I get it to do a fresh vibe report or not? Or should we just keep this one that we have now? Or, oh no, I'll do what Sergey said to analyze functions that don't have vibe. But let me double check it's not missing function renames again. Yeah, there's still stuff. There's still functions. I think this might be cursor limiting stuff. Yeah, the markdown file is another technique approach, but with the MCP you can hook up search. 5 beers deep. Just got back from the city. Nice. I don't want to tell you if I spot any. You should just spot them. Let's see. Yeah, there's still. You'll see that. Damn, look at all those marked up functions. Okay, now I'm gonna save our current report because I don't want to lose it, and I'm just gonna save it to, and then I'm just gonna get it to summarize the vibe functions. That, or I'll just do this, and I'll report functionality snippets or codes. Include code snippets where applicable. Make sure you don't stop until all functions are analyzed and summarized in the report. Please and thank you. You're the best agent there is. You just got to give it some encouragement. Threat its family. Should I try a new? I'll do what Duncan said, because yeah, it's gonna try and do all that context. Yeah, it's probably cleaner. Good shout. That was really fast, but okay. Yeah, it doesn't analyze the actual function. Oh, nice. Are you going to use your MCP server as an example? Obviously. That's funny. This is my work, so I am the expert AI person at my work because I'm the only one. Hey, TDS Steph, thanks for the follow. TR1 Trixho, thanks for the follow. Nice. That sounds good. It should just be a video of automatically analyzing binary. Did 0 prep so far. Josh is VP of Innovation. Yeah, exactly. But you can all use this right now. All you have to do is go on GitHub, and I'll put this in the chat. There's new people and stuff. And you should star it too, because it only has 2 stars right now, which is really sad. Oh, it has 5 stars now. Thanks for folks starring it. And look how good it is at doing malware analysis. Yeah, this technique works way better with the Vibe namespace than what I was using. But I guess you needed to do the initial analysis to do that too. I was surprised how difficult it is to get people to use these tools. A significant amount of time optimizing the installation workflow and documentation, but even with that, people don't actually try it. Yeah, I don't really know. I think it's kind of daunting, like trying to use some of these tools, but I'm pretty sure you can use Gemini, like the beta version of Gemini 2.5 for free. Like Google gets all your data, but I don't even think there is a barrier to entry. Like I'm pretty sure if you have an agentic system and then you just use Gemini, it's all free. Yeah, we were talking about this in the Discord. Like a lot of folks, like the last thing I want to do is discourage anybody from learning malware analysis. This was kind of more exploratory and seeing like what the capabilities are from my perspective, and then getting more used to writing Binary Ninja plugins. But right now this is primarily, I don't know, it's really basic. Like you can watch a whole stream of me doing all this analysis myself and then all these markups myself. And if it can address some of the low-hanging fruit, obviously you want to do all those markups yourself in order to be able to analyze the binary correctly, but also to learn. But once you do enough binary or malware analysis and you do enough manual markups yourself, you really want to do the least amount of that possible, just because of how time consuming it is and pretty much the time constraints, right? Like if I can not have to mark up the same ransomware function 10,000 times, I'd rather get AI to do it, just because I've already marked up that same function 10,000 times, because there's only so many ways to enumerate like a file system on Windows, for example. Yeah, it looking like magic is just like the reason it's working so well in this Phorpiex sample is because the decompilation is so clean. But like 99%, not 99, but a large percentage of the time, the decompilation is not clean, and you have to be able to figure out why it's not clean and then figure out why the system isn't working for you. Okay, so I think it created a report, but I don't know if it included everything. Let's see. Okay, I figured out that it was malware. Validate and store crypto addresses. Uses clipboard as a covert communication channel. That's not what it's doing. It uses the system clipboard for stealthy communications. That's not what it's doing. Clean up and terminate thread. Dereference thread data. Download and execute additional payloads. I like that it gives the code though. That's pretty cool, because I asked it to do that. But create persistence shortcut. So like the shell stuff is for USB worm functionality, so it didn't get that right either. Infect target directory. Okay, so no, it did get it. Creates across the system and removable drives. Yeah, I correct myself at that part. Error handling, security implications. So it didn't summarize the IRC stuff. Again, this is probably just cursor. I should have got it to like change the function names that it analyzed, because it's probably going to get confused again. We are literally casting spells on silicon. It's going thinking. I want to go back to my 6502 assembler I grew up on. So simple. Yeah, x86 is pretty bad. I've been learning some ARM, and ARM is a lot better just because it's a restricted instruction set. Yeah, so thanks to Apple Silicon, I think ARM malware will actually get popular. Thanks, Duncan. Appreciate it. Oh yeah, by the way, we sponsor Duncan, so you should go give Duncan money as well, because he's single-handedly writing the best debugger in the industry for Windows. But we sponsor Duncan, so you should too. You might want to also try adding it to some MCP directories. Yeah, that's a good idea. A starving guy. Yeah, he's only one man starving in a third world country. Yeah, x64 debug does rock. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I think I just have to like keep repeating this over and over again, which is kind of might vibe code the Linux version. I feel like that'd be really hard to have it supported across multiple distributions. Would you use dtrace or what? Can you use dtrace in that way? I've just used LLDB and GDB. Do you have your own? Is it Temple OS? Where shared libraries are banned. Nice. x64 Debug Pro operating system. Oh man, now it's not putting in the markdown. Come on. Yeah. All right. I think if you were to actually do this properly, I don't think cursor is the way to go. Yeah, all those Linux users are surely going to be paying. Should do an iOS version. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure there's like cursor prompts that are throttling like actual analysis of the entire binary. Cursor system prompts. You get 500. Let's see, pricing. Man, my VM's going really slow. It's probably because I'm doing like 30 things at once. Come on, get the pricing. Is this just Firefox being a pain? Okay, yeah, so for $20 a month, you get unlimited completions. So it's like the tab completions. Then you get 500 fast premium requests per month. Unlimited slow premium requests. So I don't know if I've hit my, and then premium requests are to advanced models like Sonnet 3.5 and 3.7. And then I think it just like, I think the agent just decides whether or not it sends it to the premium models or not. 4 cents. Ask Sergey about the time. What are you talking about, Duncan? Everything that uses, I don't think there's a premium request for every MCP request, to be honest. I think it's probably using some of the crappy models for some of them, i.e. like slow. I think it's using O1 mini and then whatever the small Anthropic one is. I can't remember what it's called. What went crazy? I was AFK for a bit, and then when I came back, it was in a crazy loop just burning money. That's funny. That's also kind of why I just use cursor. Yeah, exactly, Duncan. I just figured this was good enough for stream. What's the, there's a Malware Bizarre MCP server. Do you mind linking it, Kevin? Oops, if I could type. Oh, you created it? Damn, I want to see what you did. Did you just follow the API? Sergey, when are we getting a Unpack Me MCP server? So we get like all this stuff. ER rules. Yeah, this actually Malware Bizarre is a really good idea. So interestingly, I think the vibe approach is worse for whatever reason. This isn't like a scientific approach at all, but I think that's, I'm going to conclude that. And I think cursor is just not great for this in general because it's throttling. It's pretty sick that it's including the code snippets. Yeah, I guess I should have made it like an analysis report at a higher level. It works pretty well. Self-delete batch script. Yeah, I'll add this stuff to the blog. But like it's even summarizing. If you guys want to see the future of AI, I listened to a podcast this morning. It's insane. Oh, that's pretty cool. Duncan, this better not be anything inappropriate. This looks cool. Uh-oh, China's going to wake up and then we're going to lose all of our jobs next year. Duncan, this is just making me depressed. Why'd you send me that? Yeah, this is like, that's like fictional, like as in like open brain. All right, speaking of which, let's look at our stumbling agent stumble. All right, it made like a 2,000 line report, which is like pretty wild. With code snippets, examples. I would say our little agent did pretty good with MCP. I'm probably going to like hit a bunch of limits on my, if I try and get it without code snippets, but I think that's pretty good for today. We have, I have to go like now. So I looked up MCP clients a few days ago. 80% of them are 100% Chinese. Great, hold on. What are y'all talking about? Get the chat light here. Oh, you provided the gist. Nice. Thanks. I'll probably check that out off stream, to be honest, just because I got to bounce, but and Kevin, we can check it out next stream. I should be able to do more streams now because I'm back from holidays and I'm not sick. I look at the MCP clients. Yeah, okay, I read that. JDEC, are you still here? I don't use X anymore. It's JDEC though. You can find it in jdec.me. Thanks for giving our stuff a shot. Yeah, no problem. Almost time for DC 33 calls. Yeah, for sure. Are you participating? I thought you just stole the name. Yeah, Sergey, you've probably met JDEC. He goes to Recon and stuff too. Yeah, no problem. Duncan, thanks for joining. Oh, cool. Good luck, JDEC. That should be cool. For the CTF qualifiers. All right, cool. Yeah, so again, I'm just going to do my quick spiel. So the reason I can do open source software and do these streams and do a bunch of other stuff is because I run this company, Invoke RE, and we do malware analysis training, and we provide malware analysis services. So if your company needs help with malware analysis, or you want to learn how to do everything that the AI was doing today, but do it more accurately and be able to actually understand what's going on rather than just watching this AI kind of vibe analyze binaries, you can check out our training here. We have a Binary Ninja training. Yeah, definitely check out the blog. I'll throw that in chat too, just at invokere.com. It kind of goes over a lot of this more in depth, but you can use this MCP server right now. So you can do all the stuff we were just doing today yourself and mess around with AI and see kind of what some of the future stuff could look like. I don't want to discourage anybody from doing malware analysis or learning malware analysis. There's always going to be problems that machines can't do automatically. This Phorpiex sample is very basic. So the reason it could actually do that analysis was because this is probably one of the most basic samples and clean decompiling samples that I know of. So don't get discouraged, do cool stuff, learn how to reverse engineer, because it's probably going to become more and more important. But I also think AI is going to become important too. So it's definitely best not to just ignore these things and try and stick your head in the sand. So that was one of the reasons why I looked at this as well. And yeah, that's basically it. So if you have any questions, come hang out on Discord or hit us up on our socials. And hopefully I'll be able to stream again next week. But I'm just going to continue working on that Stealc sample probably, and then we can go from there. So I'll upload all these notes on our GitHub as well. So let's see here, invoke reversing or invoke-re/invoke. So this is the repo, and then we have our stream notes repo. So I'll upload all those reports and stuff and some notes on here. And then if you want access to all the databases and stuff, again, there's that premium stuff you can check out if you're interested. But all right, take care, y'all. Have a good weekend.